Hello, everyone. Good evening to you all. Am I audible, everybody? Hello, everyone. Good evening to you all. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the session. Today, we are going to talk about brain behavior and evolution. So this is the last subunit of Unit 11, and lot of questions every session for sure comes from this portion. So this portion basically comprises of various kind of animal behavior, whether it is mating, whether it is looking for a partner, whether it is looking for food, that is foraging behavior, whether it is staying in a group, or whether it is communication, because when we are staying in a group we need to communicate. So various types of communication, like communication through sounds, communication to body gesture, or communication to sound. Along with that, it also involves a very important aspect of animal behavior, which is about parental care. So every kind of behavior. So first of all, in this unit, we learn how the behaviors or how the different characteristics develop in an organism. Okay, how the behavioral characteristic develop in an organism, and then we also talk about like what is its from evolution point of view, how the evolution of that happens. So whenever we are talking about any kind of behavior, there are two questions that we should know. One is the proximate cause, and one is the ultimate cause. So proximate cause here helps us to particular behavior is done. Whereas, so first we learn about that in this particular subunit. Apart from that, so once we understand this, then we take up different kind of animal behavior, like mating, like looking for food, foraging behavior, staying in group, communication, parental care, migration. So all these different kind of behaviors we take, and then we try to understand its proximate cause and its ultimate cause. Okay, so that is entirely about what this particular unit subunit is. And every time for sure question do come from this segment. Okay, and the questions which come, they are usually graph based question. So sometimes you have to answer the question with the background knowledge of the concept and comparing it with the graph, or else what you have to do is, in many cases, if you have a good understanding of how to interpret a graph, you can answer that question also. Okay, so let's get started and see some question from the previous year papers from this particular subunit. Okay, so very first question, the following table lists selected concepts, column X, and its behavioral in behavior biology and their description. Okay, so this is a good question because at one time only we get to check four different concepts in behavioral biology, and we are get to understand the gist of it. Okay, so this kind of knowledge will be helpful for us, especially in this match the following kind of question, which is again a common type of question coming from this particular subunit. Okay, so the first column has alley effect, Bateman's hypothesis, challenge hypothesis, and Hamilton-Zook hypothesis. Okay, now what is alley effect? Alley effect says that so as the population density increases, the fitness of that particular individual increases. Okay, so fitness and population density are directly proportional to each other. So as the population density of that particular trait increase, the fitness will increase, and with that the population density will also increase. Okay, so they both are directly proportional to each other. That is what is alley effect. Okay, now if we check column Y, so 1 goes with 3. That situation in which fitness of individual increases with increased population density, means fitness is directly proportional to population density. Population density increases, fitness of that individual increases. Fitness decreases means population density of that particular trait will decrease. Okay, so that is 1 3. So with 1 3, actually, if you have matched it correct, you will see that in the option, as I always tell you to solve the question in part. So here you will see that there is no other option with A3. There is only one option, option number 4. Nothing has A3. Okay. Yes. Now let's have a look at Bateman's hypothesis. So Bateman hypothesis, it talks about the reproductive success of male and female. Okay, and like in two sessions, okay, two recent sessions, we have seen question coming from Bateman's hypothesis. So you should have a clear idea about the concept of it. Okay, I am not saying you have to go too much in detail about Bateman's hypothesis or any of this hypothesis, but you should have an idea. Okay, so Bateman hypothesis, it says that it compares the reproductive success of male and female and the cost paid by male and female. Okay, so according to Bateman hypothesis, um, for the female, the cost of reproduction is higher, okay, compared to male. So in case of female, the reproductive success is limited by how many offsprings it produces, okay, whereas in case of males, the reproductive success is limited by how many partners it inseminate. Okay, so female reproductive success is most strongly limited by the number and success of eggs that she can produce, while male reproductive success is limited by the number of matings he has. Okay, so that is what is Bateman's hypothesis. Challenge hypothesis, it says that so challenge hypothesis goes for one, that is male male interactions increase plasma testosterone and thus sustain subsequent aggressive behavior. Okay, so in a population when there is male 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 competition, basically, so one male feature is competing with the other male for partners, so those characteristics, the aggressive character behavior, that is supposed to increase. Okay, that is challenge hypothesis. So where there is challenge, there this aggressive behavior will increase. Where there is no challenge between male male, so this aggressive behavior will not increase. The last one, Hamilton Zook hypothesis, it says that parasite and pathogen plays an important role in sexual selection when secondary sexual traits are costly and condition dependent. Okay, so our answer will be A3, B4, C1, and D2. Okay, so answer is option 4. So as I told you before also, that in this match the kind of followings, you should target them first, and if you are solving even one or two of them also correctly, you will get the answer most probably correct. Okay, and easily and quickly. Moving on to next question. Monogamy in sexual reproducing animals is seemingly paradoxical given that males must maximize their number of matings for higher fitness. Yet, many birds are known to be monogamous. Which one of the following statements represent a scenario where monogamy in bird is least likely to evolve? Yes. If anybody wants to answer, you're most welcome. You can send me your answer through chat. And I'm really hoping that you people are practicing well. Your practice is going on well, even though you are not answering the questions correctly. So I hope that you are practicing well. Yeah, so sorry, everyone. I just got disconnected. I came back. I hope all of you are there. So we'll continue our discussion. Yes, so we were here. So here we are talking about. So basically, this question is asking about a scenario where monogamy in birds is least likely to evolve. Okay. So the options we have is poor quality of habitat wherein resources are hard to find. Now, in this particular situation, poor quality of habitat means so when the resources are hard, so definitely looking for a partner is also difficult. Okay, so wherever the resources are more, wherever the chance of mating is more, so the individual will try to stick to that place only. Okay, so this is a kind of condition which will actually permit monogamy, or it will increase monogamy. Okay, next is male guard females while after mating with them. So in that case also the female if the males are guarding the female, okay, so that means the male is taking care of his partner, okay, making sure that the partner does not mate with anybody else. So in that case males are occupied here. So if the males are occupied here, so definitely they don't have time to look for a polygamous relationship or other partner. Okay, so this also will actually increase monogamy. Third, mates are scattered and hard to find. So again, the same situation. So in any kind of situation, like if there is a too much of competition, okay, so in that case, the individuals will try to be staying in a monogamous relationship. Like if you have secured a partner, you will try to preserve that partner only. Okay, not wasting any further resources or any further energy in looking for a new partner. Okay, so this also will increase monogamy. So all these three situations will actually increase monogamy. Okay, whereas the fourth one, which says offspring do not require elaborate parental care. See, one more situation which increases monogamy is when the offspring needs too much care. Okay, and if the offspring needs so much care that even care from one parent is not enough, and both the parents have to be involved in in parental care. Okay, now that exactly had been the situation with humans or with many birds, that the young ones need a lot of care, and that is why both the parents are involved in the parental care, and that is why a monogamous relationship has spread up in the population. Okay, so if the situation reverses where the offspring do not need elaborate parental care, so in that case the parents will be free after giving birth. Both the parents are free. They are free to go and look for partners, and in that case polygamous or even polyandrous relationship can also happen. Okay, so this will be the answer, that with the situation where offspring do not require elaborate parental care, this will actually support polygamous relationship. Okay, so this is the situation which is least likely to evolve a monogamous relationship. So answer will be option 4. So before we go ahead, a quick announcement about the Lakshya batch, or Biotecnika's Lakshya batch. Okay, so you all have been hearing about it. Along with that, guys, we have come up with top 10 toughest test series. Every day, we are uploading a test of 10 questions from a particular unit in our Biotecnika app. Okay, so if you want to give this question, so these questions, all part C type of questions, difficult questions, if you want to practice those questions before going for your exam, so this is the time you do it. So please, you if you want to do that, please download Biotechnika's app, and through the app every single day, it is completely free. Okay, you don't have to pay any subscription rate for this. So just download Biotechnika's app, and then you will be able to take up this T3 test series. Okay, so everybody, I hope you are taking it. If not, please download Biotechnika's app, and through that give this test series. Okay, it's only 30 minutes test every single day. We are uploading right in the morning, and once you are giving the test, you can also get to see a rank list also, where you stand actually among all the aspirants. Okay, so every single day 10 questions from a particular unit. Please give this test. Moving on, next question. Inclusive fitness of an animal can be measured as a sum of direct fitness and indirect fitness. Imagine you have 10 offspring. Through diligent parental care, 5 survive to reproduce. You give your life in a heroic deed to save a total of 5 of your nieces and nephews. What is your inclusive fitness? Okay. Now, this inclusive fitness can be calculated very easily by the formula. So, inclusive
fitness will be equal to direct fitness plus indirect fitness. Okay. Now, what will be your direct fitness? Direct fitness you will get from your own sons and daughters. Okay. The fitness that you are getting from your relatives, that will be considered as indirect fitness. Okay. So direct fitness you get from your own offspring. Now, how many offsprings of your survive? So even though you have 10 offsprings, 5 of them died. Okay. So your fitness will be calculated on the basis of the offsprings who actually survived to reproduce. So, how many offsprings did survive to reproduce? That is 5. Okay. So, what will be your value for direct fitness from them? So, it will be 5 multiplied by the genetic relatedness with them. Okay. So, number multiplied by genetic relatedness. So, between parent and offspring, genetic relatedness is 0.5. Okay. So, it will be 5 multiplied by 0.5 plus indirect fitness. So from where are you getting indirect fitness? By saving your nieces and nephews. Okay. So again, how much indirect fitness you will get? That will be given by the number of your relatives that you are saving multiplied by the genetic relatedness between them. Okay. So how many you are saving? 5. What is your genetic relatedness? So genetic relatedness between an uncle and niece and nephew, or aunt and niece and nephew, is 0.25. Okay. So either you can remember these values, or there is an easy trick using a pedigree chart also you can calculate. Okay. I hope all of you know that. Mm, okay. So 0.25. Okay. So when we do it, so how much it will be? 5 multiplied by 0.5 becomes 2.5, plus 5 multiplied by 0.25 becomes 1.25. Okay. So it will become 3.75. So this much will be your inclusive fitness value. So answer option 4. Next question. Based on the theory of kin selection, choose the correct statement. So this question is about kin selection. So kin selection is again kin selection, or even if you talk about altruism, these are the topics which are very frequently asked, and these are considered as important topics from this particular subunit. So you should have a very good idea about what is kin selection. So kin selection talks about altruistic behavior. So basically, it says that when we reproduce, so we pass on our genes to the offspring, right? So more offsprings we reproduce, more of our genes will be in the gene pool. That is correct. Okay, that gives us the direct fitness. But at the same time, when we are talking about genes, so the genes we have are not exclusively only in us, it is shared among our relatives as well, right? So closer a relative is, more is the chance of sharing genes with them. For example, you will have more chances of sharing your genes with your sibling compared to sharing your genes with your uncle and aunts. Okay. Similarly, you have more chances of sharing your genes with your parents compared to your cousins. Okay. So more genetically closely related you are, more is the chance of sharing genes with them. Okay. So if you are doing an altruistic act means where you do a self sacrifice in order for a relative to survive. Okay. So in that case you get an inclusive fitness. Okay. So so the gene, so even though you are sacrificing yourself, okay, so there is a gene which is actually coding for this trait of self sacrifice. So because you are sacrificing, ideally that gene should get the, or whoever is sacrificing, so whoever has the gene, they are making a sacrifice, so ideally that particular gene should get completely eliminated from the population. But it does not happen. Why? Because the gene which is making you do the sacrifice is not only in you but also in your close relatives. So to save them when you are doing a self sacrifice, so that is becoming beneficial to them. So in that way the gene is spreading in the pool. Okay. So that is the theory of kin selection. So which of the statement out of option these 4 options given is the best example or best explanation of kin selection? So that will be option 3. that is, a gene for altruism will spread in the population if act of altruism increases the actor's gene in the next gene pool through direct or indirect fitness. Okay, so in the previous question only I told you what is direct fitness. Direct fitness you get by your own reproduction, whereas indirect fitness you get by your relatives. Okay, so option 1 and 2 talks about only direct or only indirect. Okay, it's not like that. When we talk about kin selection, it is by either direct or indirect, just that that particular gene's frequency should have to increase in the next gene pool. Okay, and option 4 is absolutely incorrect, that it reduces fitness. Altruistic behavior reduces fitness of the trait bearer. That is not true. Altruistic behavior increases the fitness of the trait bearer. Okay, even though the person is doing its own sacrifice, because the gene which is making you do the altruistic act is also present in your relatives, and when you are doing a sacrifice so that your relatives could reproduce, so that particular altruistic gene is spreading in the population in the next generation. Okay, so it will be option 3. That is the answer. Next question. Now, this question is a very interesting question, and this question again can be answered without any kind of having any kind of background in the concept. Okay, just what you need is to have a good idea about how to read a graph. And as I tell you, that many questions from this particular unit, this unit 11, as well as many questions from unit 10, okay, especially the graph based questions, can be answered even when you don't have or you have very vague idea about the concept. Okay, so males of a species of grasshopper produce loud calls to attract females. Most energy of these calls lie in the species specific frequency, while other frequencies have much less energy. This is depicted in a power spectrum, plots with solid line in the figure below. Okay, so this solid line is showing this spectrum of sound. Females find males by listening to and recognizing the species specific call, and they are most sensitive to the species specific frequency. Most sensitive. Okay, what does it mean? Most sensitive means that even if it is a very faintest sound, still the females are very sensitive to that, so the females will be able to hear it. Okay, when it is the species specific sound, so for them they are very much sensitive, so even a faintest of sound also they can hear. This is depicted using the hearing threshold curve, that is the plot in dashed line in the figure below. This allows female to find even the softest calling males of their own species and ignore even the loud callers of other species, resulting in reproductive isolation. Which one of the following figure represent the correct option for the hearing threshold of females given the power spectrum of male calls of this grasshopper species? Okay, so what you have to understand is, first of all, that the female they hear the sound of their male species only. Okay, and they can hear even the faintest sound from the male. Okay, and what about the male? The males will produce loud calls, okay, of calls to attract the females. Now, when you see the graph here, so on the y-axis, we have sound pressure level, which is in decibel. So basically, higher the decibel means louder the sound is. Lesser decibel means lesser sound. And then we have frequency on the x-axis. Okay. So what this entire explanation is about, that the female can hear the the call, the faintest call of the males of the same species, whereas the loudest call of the males of the other species also the females cannot hear. Okay, so basically, if this solid line is for the male making the sounds, right, plot with solid line. Okay, so this is the species where, so this particular is the species specific decibel level, so the male is making the maximum sound here. Okay, so what will the females have to do? Females have to be very much sensitive to this particular sound. Sensitive means even a faintest sound also they can hear. Okay, so their capacity to hear the decibel level will be very low in this particular range only. Okay, where the male of the same species are making the sound. Okay, so as you can see here that there is a dip. So the dotted line is showing the hearing capacity of the female. So females, even like for the other frequencies, in the other frequencies, okay, which where the other species are making sound, females have higher threshold, so they cannot hear the faintest sound. But in their particular species specific male sound, so in that frequency they have the, they are very sensitive, so even the softest sound also they can hear. Okay, so therefore answer will be option 1. So if you are able to interpret the graph, you will be able to answer it. Okay, see in 2, see there is no overlap only. Okay, so female can hear, like females softest hearing is here. Okay, and the male is making the sound higher here. Okay, but here also where their own species is not making sound, here also the females can hear. Okay, so in that case the females will be able to hear the calls of the other species male. Okay, which is not the situation that is given. Same is the situation here as well as in case of, so fourth is absolutely wrong, because in this case means that the females hearing capacity also increases, like they can only hear the higher decibel sounds in this region. Okay, but it's not what is given. It is given that the females can hear the faintest sound. Okay, so there has to be a dip in this. I hope all of you understood. So everyone, there's a request from me that if you have any question, if you are not able to understand anything, please feel free to send a chat, and I will like let me know in the chat and I will answer it. Moving on, next question. Many species of birds call at dawn in temperate regions. The phenomena is referred to as dawn chorus. Several explanations have been proposed for this. Which one of the option is not a correct explanation for the occurrence of dawn chorus? Okay, so what is this dawn chorus? See, we have been hearing, you have been reading in the poems and all, in the books and all, that in the morning the birds will do the chirping, right? So so how, like in olden days also, when there were no clocks and all, how we used to know that it has become morning? So definitely the sun will come out, and just before the sun comes out, that is the time the birds will wake up, right? So birds will wake up, they will start chirping, and that used to be like a natural alarm for the people when the clocks were not there. Okay, now what is the biological phenomena, or the evolution biologist, or as a evolutionist, okay, what, and as a behavioral scientist, okay, what you should know, that why birds will wake up that early in the morning, why they will do the chirping at that time. Okay, so there are several reasons for that. First is that that is the sound when they are, that is the time of the day, okay, where they don't have much to do, and this is the time where all other disturbances are not there. Okay, because other animals are not awake. If we talk about the vehicles and all, that is not there. Okay, so that is the time where the birds can make the calls for mating or for attracting their mate. Okay, so statement 1, which says the transmission of sound is better at dawn due to colder temperature at that particular time, yes, that is one of the reason of dawn chorus. Singing at dawn is costly as the birds are low on energy. Okay, because the entire night has passed without any kind of food. Okay, so the birds who are able to sing the loudest in the dawn is actually displaying his strength. Okay, strength means it is making sure that so it is actually displaying its strength, telling the partners, okay, the prospective partners, that see, I have not eaten anything, still I have this much strength that I can sing this loudly. Okay, so this makes singing at dawn a handicap and thereby indicates honest signaling. Okay, so those who are only interested, really interested in mating, they only will be doing this dawn chorus. Okay, and also third one says that dawn chorus allows bird to utilize a time window for singing which does not interfere with their feeding time. Okay, so that is the time when they are actually not going for feeding, so that is the time they will utilize for doing the dawn chorus to attract their partners. Okay, so all these three are reasons for dawn chorus. What is not a reason is this option 4, which says that the syrinx muscle are unable to move freely after every morning, resulting in poorer control over song production at later times of the day. Okay, that is not a reason for correct explanation for dawn chorus. Okay, so that's why here, since we had to find out not a correct explanation, so answer is option 4. Next question. This question also is a previous year CSIR question, and it is talking about the foraging behavior. Okay, optimal foraging theory actually. So consider predators with a choice between two prey types, a big prey one which has energy value E1, handling time H1 and search time S1, and a small prey 2 with energy value E2, handling time H2 and search time S2. According to the optimal foraging theory, when will the predator preferentially select prey 2? Okay, so let me draw it. So prey 1 is a bigger prey. Okay, so I'm just making a big box for prey 1. Okay, so prey 1 has E1, that is the amount of energy that the individual will get by eating or feeding on it. But at the same time, it has a handling time of H1 and a search time of S1. Okay, see, handling time and search time is what? The time that is invested by the predator to look for it. Okay, what is handling time? Handling time is the time which is spent between the time of spotting the prey to consuming it. Okay, like it might include, like you have the tiger has spotted a deer. Okay, but the time it took for it to catch the deer, kill it, and then get to its flesh, to the consuming part. Okay, it might also, like for the birds, they have, let's say they have looked for a nut. Okay, so handling time will include the time it take for them to take the nut, break the nut and reach to its food. Okay, so that all will be considered as H1. Okay, so this is for your prey 1, which is big in size. Prey 2 is small, which has E2 is the energy that it gets, H2 is the handling time, and S2 is the search time. Okay, so according to optimal foraging theory, when will the predator preferentially select prey to? Now, what is this optimal foraging theory? Optimal foraging theory says that uh, for a predator, the best food will be the food which will give it more energy with lesser investment of handling time and search time. Okay, so basically lesser cost and higher benefit. Okay, that is the main concept for development of any kind of behavior: lesser cost and higher benefit. Okay, so when will it go for prey 2? So it will go for prey 2 only when, if the energy obtained from prey 2 divided by H2 plus S2. Okay, if this value becomes bigger than E1 divided by H1 plus S1. Okay, so when this ratio becomes bigger, then only the going for prey 2 will be beneficial. So basically, in that case, what will happen is that the predator is getting higher energy compared to lesser cost. Okay, lesser cost but higher energy. So if even if it is prey 2 which is small in size, the predator can start eating prey 2 if prey 2 basically is easily available. Okay, compared to E1, the prey 1, which is difficult to get. Okay, so right, so in this case only it will be prey 2 will be preferred according to optimal foraging theory. Now if you see the options, the best one which explains this is option 1. All right, moving on to next question. Again, this is a graph based question. The top panel represents 10 trends of sperms produced per mating season with respect to number of mates, while the bottom panel represents trends of time invested in parental care with respect to number of mates in birds. Select the correct trend from each panel. Okay, so the top panel is showing what? The top panel is showing the trend of number of sperms produced per mating season with respect to number of mates. Okay, so on y-axis we have number of sperms produced in a mating season. On x-axis we have number of mates. Okay, so for this particular parameter, okay, so even before you look at the graph, you should know what will be the trend. Okay, so here the trend will be how much? So trend will be a direct proportionality, that is number of sperms produced will be directly proportional to the number of mates, right? More is the number of mates, more sperms will be produced. All right, so with this particular trend, if you see that, then this graph A is the best depiction of this, that more is the number of mates, more will be the number of sperms produced. Okay, here there is a dip and then there is increase, here there is increase and then there is a dip, but it won't happen like this, it will increase only. Okay, so graph A is correct. Now with the graph A being correct, automatically you can eliminate option B and you can eliminate option A and C. Next, the bottom panel, it represents the trends of time invested in parental care with respect to number of mates in birth. So in the first question, in the second question, yes, I told you that if parental care is needed more, then the number of mates will be less. Okay, because the individual will be involved in taking care of the offspring. Because see, I told you that fitness not only depends on how many offspring a particular individual produces, but actually how many offspring survive for their own reproduction, that decides the fitness. Okay, so just producing 100 so you can produce 100 offsprings, but if none of them makes to adulthood, none of them reproduce, then there is no point of that. Okay, so here the time invested in parental care is inversely proportional to the mate in birth. Okay, so parental care, if it needs time in parental care, is inversely proportional to number of mates. So as the parental care increases, number of mates will decrease. Okay, so which is the graph that is showing that trend in general? Okay, so that is graph number 2, because here there is a decrease and then increase. In here, in third graph, it is a continuous increase, which will not happen, and here it is like kind of no effect. Okay, that also will not happen. So time investment invested in parental care is inversely proportional to the number of mates. Okay, so that's why answer will be option B. Okay, A and 2. Next question. This is again from Hamilton's rule also. So Hamilton's rule is also something that you should know and you should practice questions from that for the exam. Okay, and so if you as you all know that at the end of the session we'll be uploading a link, okay, where you will get 5 more questions from this topic with their explanation. So everybody stay tuned till the end, and you can download the file, okay, that will help you in your preparation. All equally difficult questions from this same topic along with their explanation also. Okay, so this question, the coefficient of relatedness between individuals AB, AD, and between DC is, okay. See, how can we calculate that? So there are two ways in which you can actually do. One is that you memorize, okay. What you memorize the genetic relatedness between parent and offspring, between siblings, between uncle and nephew, okay. So or between the first cousins. Okay, so these are the things that you should know. Okay, now apart from that also, if you memorize, then there is a chance of forgetting it. So I prefer more on understanding the concept of how to find it out. Okay, so that can also be calculated very easily. So in here you see there is a solid line between the parents and offspring. Okay, right. So now with the parents, the relationship is 0.5. Okay, so with your parents, the relationship is 0.5. So if you go from here to here, it is 0.5. If you go from here to here, then also it is 0.5. If you go from here to here, 0.5. Okay, from here to here is also 0.5. Okay. Now the coefficient of relatedness between AB. So when you are finding coefficient of relatedness, what you have to do is, so across each line between parents is 0. 0.5, right? So how many lines you have to cross to reach from one individual to another? Okay. So that number, so 0. 0.5 raised to that particular number, okay, will give you the genetic relatedness. So for example, the relatedness between A and B will be how much? So it is only one line you are crossing, so it will be 0. 0.5 only. Okay, so A and B is 0. 0.5. What about A and D? Now for A and D, you have to go through B. So B to D, which is 0. 0.5, and then B to A, which is again 0. 0.5. Okay, so the relationship between A and D will be how much? 0. 0.5 raised to the power 2. Okay, which makes it 0. 0.25. So A to D is 0. 0.25. Okay. Now between D and C. All right. Now D is how much? So again, how many lines you have to take? So D to B. Okay. So if I have to find out the relationship between D and C. Okay. So how many lines we have to cross? We have to go from D to B. Then we have to go from B to this particular individual in the middle. Okay. Let's make it X. And then from X to C. Okay, so how much is this one? 0. So across it is all 0. 0.5. So how many lines you have to cross? 3. So the relationship between D and C becomes 0. 0.5 raised to the power 3. Okay, so it becomes 0. 0.125. So answer is option A. Okay, so for finding this genetic relation, the coefficient of relatedness, so you should know that the formula will be 0. 0.5 raised to the power n, where n is the number of lines you have to, or number of turns you have to take in the pedigree chart. Okay, and these turns you can only take through the parents, or in case here there is siblings are not mentioned, you can also go through the siblings. Okay, and you have to take the smallest path. So if you go through the siblings also, you can go, because the relatedness between siblings also is 0. 0.5, same as parents and offspring. Okay, next question. Following are the plots representing biological rhythms at different time points, depicts as SR sunrise, N noon, SS sunset, and MN midnight. Which of the plots represent the ultradian biological rhythm? So to answer this question, so definitely you have to read the graph, but at the same time, the challenge here is to know what is ultradian biological rhythm. So if you have studied circadian rhythm, which is again a part of this subunit, so you will know different type of rhythms, right? So circadian rhythm is called because it goes by a cycle of 24 hours. Ultradian biological rhythm means something that happens multiple times in a day. Okay, so which are the graphs that are showing ultradian? So in a day, now day will be what? Day will be from SR to midnight. Okay, sunrise to midnight will be the day. Okay, so sunrise, if it is here, midnight is here, this is one day. Okay, that can be considered as one day, or you can just consider it like this: from one sunrise to the next one, that is one day. Okay, so any event which is getting repeated multiple times in a day, so this is one day. Okay, for all the graphs here, this is one day, one day, one day, and one day. Okay, so which are the graphs where the peak, so peak is showing what? Peak is showing the rhythm. Okay, so if there are multiple peaks coming in in one day, okay, so that will be considered as ultradian rhythm. So which are the one that is showing ultradian rhythm? So that is A, okay, where it is multiple peaks are coming in one day, and C, again multiple peaks. If you see B and D, only one peak is coming in the segment of one day. Okay, so that's why not B and D. So B and D will be more like circadian, but in case of A and C, it will be ultradian because multiple peaks are happening in one day. Yes. Next question. Again, this is a graph based question. And again, this is a type of question which you can answer even without having any idea about the concept, underlying concept. So, antelopes are proposed to form groups to reduce the risk of predation. A researcher measured the predation of individuals in groups of different sizes. She found that per capita mortality risk decreased with increasing group size for males. Per capita mortality risk decreased. Okay, these are the key things that you should underline or you should focus on when you have to correlate it with a graph. Okay, so mortality risk decreases with increasing group size for the male, okay, which is shown by solid line, but remained unchanged for female. Okay, means mortality rate of females remain unchanged even with increasing group size. Increasing group size or decreasing group size, the mortality rate remains unchanged, okay, which is shown by a dashed line. Furthermore, male in all groups experienced greater per capita mortality than females. So males have more risk. Okay, male risk is actually higher than females risk. Right, so this is again a way to solve this kind of difficult or more analytical question, is that you write it down in the best way you can, in a scientific way. Okay, instead of words, because words will make you confused, but when you write it in a scientific way, it will make more sense to you and you will be able to correlate it with the graph or table given in the question in a better way. Okay, so per capita mortality risk in female is lesser in general than male. Identify the graph below that best depicts the above finding. Okay, so first thing, what is the relationship? That in case of males, per capita mortality risk decreased with increasing group size. Okay, means in male, what will be it? It will be an inversely proportional situation. Okay, so increasing, or we can say that mortality rate is inversely proportional to group size. So bigger the group is, mortality risk is low, group size. Okay, and smaller the group is, higher is the mortality rate. Okay, so basically there will be a downward kind of graph line you will see. Okay, so which is the one where this downward line is there? Because on y-axis we have per capita mortality risk, on x-axis we have group size. Okay, I hope the image is little blur because I took it from the real paper. I hope all of you are able to see. So on y-axis we have per capita mortality rate, on the x-axis we have group size. Okay, so mortality risk should be inversely proportional to group size, so we should have a downward kind of a trend. Okay, so immediately you can eliminate option 2, right? And also one more thing, what it says, that for females mortality rate remains same, means there will be a constant line. Okay, dotted line will be constant, that goes in all of these options, option 1 2 1 3 and 4. Okay, but the next line, what it says, that male risk in general is higher than the female risk. Okay, so this dotted line which is showing the mortality risk in female will be where? It will be very bottom. Okay, and the line is not crossing. See in here what it is showing, in the meaning of graph 1 will be that female risk is higher, risk higher. Okay, here female risk is lower, but not for all males. Okay, or not for all group size of males, like beyond this particular point, in this group size. Okay, male mortality risk is lesser than that of female. Okay, is that the situation mentioned? No, situation says that in general, in any group size range, if you see, female mortality risk is lesser. Okay, so the dotted line should be far below this solid line. Okay, which is shown only in option 4. So there is no intercross here, so it is here. The dotted line is far below the solid line. Okay, so answer option 4. Next question. This is a question from circadian rhythm. So, in circadian rhythm studies, following may be the possible generalization for the effectiveness of light entrainment to the day night cycle. Okay. So, there are four statements given: shorter exposure have a greater effect than longer exposure, brighter light exposure have greater effect than dim light, intermittent exposure have greater effect than consistent exposure, and dim light can affect entrainment relative to darkness. Okay. See, when we talk about circadian rhythm, so basically circadian rhythm is what? It is our sleep wake cycle. Okay, so circadian rhythm is basically the biological clock that we have, because of which we feel active in the morning, whereas we feel sleepy at night. Okay, now see, if we are kept in like in India now, it is night, so your body is actually releasing the hormone melatonin, which is basically making you sleepy now. Okay, now in this particular time, if you go to America, now it is morning. Okay, so what happens when you are traveling from India to America, let's say? Okay, so when you are going to the other part of the world, will you still be feeling sleepy now at night, because for your body it is night? Okay, yes, initially you will, but our circadian rhythm is not very, it's not rigid. Okay, it works in this way, but it is also taking inputs from the outside. Okay, how does it take input from outside? In form of light. Okay, so light is the major input that our circadian rhythm will use for calibration. Okay, so in a 24-hour cycle, circadian rhythm also calibrates. Okay, so that's why anybody who is moving from India to America or any other part of the world with a different time zone, you will feel jet lag. Okay, but jet lag does not stay for more than 2-3 days. Only for 2-3 days your body will be in your previous circadian rhythm, but slowly it will adjust to the new circadian rhythm. Okay, why? Because of light. So our eyes, through our eyes we take in light, and that gives a signal to our brain that it is morning, and this that will stop the secretion of melatonin. Okay, as the secretion of melatonin stops, we stop feeling sleepy, and when it is night, then it gives a cue to melatonin, gives a clue to the gland that now you have to produce melatonin. Okay, the pituitary gland which produces it. Okay, so light is the major cue through which circadian rhythm is calibrated. So how the calibration will work? So basically, the brightness of the light will decide. Okay, so definitely brightness of the light, if it is more, so faster you will recover. Okay, so bright light exposure have greater effect than dim light. That is true. Okay, and option 4, which says dim light can affect entrainment relative to darkness. Yes, so compared to darkness, dim light is better, but compared to dim light, even bright light is even better. Okay, so these two are the answers. So answer will be, so sorry if I say A, B, C, and D, then answer will be B and D only. Okay, because if we talk about time, okay, so shorter exposure have greater effect than longer exposure is wrong. It is the longer exposure which will have more effect than shorter exposure. And C statement says that intermittent light exposure have greater effect than consistent exposure. Then also it will be incorrect, because consistent exposure has more effect than intermittent exposure. Yes, next question. The western honeybee collects nectar and pollen from flowers. The following are the few hypotheses proposed to explain this behavior in A. mellifera. So, in the past, those individuals that fed on nectar and pollen left more descendant than those who preferred only nectar or only pollen. The sensory stimulus from taste receptor in honeybees lead to the positive reinforcement to look for more of the same food. The honeybee's nervous system is predisposed to like the sweet taste. The ancestor of honeybee was dependent on same sugar and protein rich diet, and honeybees have inherited the same taste perception. Which of the following combination of ultimate hypothesis best explains the bee's feeding behavior? Okay, so as I told you in the initial session, like in the starting point of the session itself, that whenever there's a behavior, there are two things we should know: the proximate cause and the ultimate cause. So proximate cause explains how that particular behavior is done, but ultimate cause explains why that behavior has been evolved. Okay, so why honeybees always preferred nectar and pollen? Okay, so it is because that the individuals who fed on nectar and pollen had higher fitness, okay, compared to the other ones. All right, so they had higher fitness, they left more descendants, and all those descendants also preferred eating on nectar and pollen. Okay, so statement one seems correct, right? And also statement four also, if you see, so the ancestor honeybees was dependent on same sugar and protein rich diet, and the honeybees have inherited the same taste perception from their ancestors. Okay, and why? Because the ancestors, those ancestors who were feeding on this high sugar and high protein diet, had better fitness, were producing more offsprings compared to the other ones. Okay, so sorry, if I write it as A, B, C, D, so which are the statements that are correct is A and D. Option 3. Yes. Next question: in Hymenoptera insects, males are diploid, males are haploid, females are diploid. Okay, so basically means what? I will write it down. So males are haploid, females are diploid. All fertilized eggs give rise to males. As a result, if a female mate with a single male, the females in the progeny are related to 75%. Okay, because the part that they are getting from their father is same, exactly same. But if the mother had mate with other males, the male genetic relatedness of female progeny is correctly represented by which of the four graph? Okay, so what happens here is, in case of the progeny, okay, so if father is haploid, okay, so I'll just write this because it is haploid, it is like this. Okay, the mother is diploid, so just let me draw it. So mother is like this, okay, all green. Now what about their female offsprings? So female offsprings, they will get the part from father. Okay, and the part that is coming from father is directly this only. Okay, the part that they are getting from mother, let's say it will be 50% of their half genome. Okay, which will be same, like if you compare two females. All right, so between two females the relatedness is 0.75. Now if the father's part is not same, because the female has mated with two different males, so if father's part is not same, okay, means you just take this part out. This is not same. Okay, so in that case what will be the situation? That only the part that they are getting from their mother, okay, that will be same. So how much it is? 50% of 50%. Okay, so 50% of 50% will make it 0.25. Okay, so the relatedness between the female progeny in this particular situation will become 0.25. Okay, so more is the number of males. All right, so with that the relatedness will not keep on decreasing. So if there is only one male mate for the female, then the relatedness is 0.75. But when it is even more also, okay, because now the father's part is not matching, so relatedness between the progeny will remain 0.25, because the part that they are getting from mother, that will match. Okay, so here this graph 1 is the answer, because here it is decreasing and it is becoming zero. That will not happen till they have the common mother. Okay, so therefore it zero, not possible, this not possible, this not possible. Okay, here it is increasing, the relatedness is even increasing, that also not possible. So it will decrease, but it will stop at 0.25. So here also answer is option 1. Okay, so with this, we come to the end of this session. I will request our technical team to please put the link where the students can upload, can take the questions. So 5 questions from this particular topic, 5 difficult questions from this topic are there in that particular document. So please download it, and the explanations are also there. So in case you are not able to solve, take help from the explanations and use it to solve more questions like that. Okay, and I would like to mention one more time about the T3 test series, which is completely free on Biotecnika's app. Please download the app, give the test every day. Every single day, we are uploading tests of 10 questions from a particular topic, all Part C difficult questions. So, test your preparation by giving this T3 test series. Thank you, everyone, for joining. All the very best. See you all next time.